Hello and welcome back to When the Night Comes. I'm Agent Mischief. Let's jump back on into it, shall we? I head back to my room with the wolf to clear my head and try to figure out my hastily concocted plan a little more thoughtfully. I stay up pondering the fact that we've been given the name of the latest victim, and I wonder if Harry is keeping it from me for a reason. After my conversation with August, everything feels wrong. A quick, sharp pain rises in my temples. I feel that familiar presence lurking. Despite that, it would appear that no voices will visit me tonight. Because apparently nothing is sacred in this town, I managed to coax Piper's address out of Edna with very little persuasion. I head across the street, unsurprised that she lives so close to the tavern, and as far away from headquarters as possible. Her house is small, but appears to have character, much like its owner. Take a deep breath and I knock. She looks surprised to see me, her expression quickly softens.
I wasn't expecting you, especially because I assumed you had no bloody idea where I live. Are you okay?
A timid smile crosses my lips. I definitely don't think this is a conversation to be had in the street. Can we talk? Oh, sorry, of course. Come in. Her house is warm and inviting, the walls adorned with an abundance of gorgeous weaponry and various plants and brightly colored pillows litter the room. Your home is beautiful. Thank you. I've been lucky, really. I know not all hunters catch a break like I have. Plus, real estate in this shithole is cheap. We share a laugh, but I can't help but feel a sense of urgency to discuss things with her. I decided now is not the time for pleasantries or stalling. Cutting straight to the chase is the only way. I have some news about Aya. Her eyes wide and flicking to the side away from me. Aya!
Please don't say what I think you're going to.
I pulled the sash from inside my coat and presented to her, but I'm quick to reassure. This was found in the woods, but that doesn't mean... She could still be alive, Piper. This has clearly been out there for a while. She reaches out and runs her hand over the ruined fabric, her fingers shaking. With a deep inhale, she withdraws, trying to sit upon the arm of her sofa. Why are you here? She looks so sad, like she's only thinking the worst. I don't blame her, and I can't imagine how frustrated she must feel at the hand she's dealt. I wanted you to know that I spoke to August last night. They were quite honest with me about everything, really. Oh, they were,
I suppose they told you why I was demoted. I acted without rational thought. I was so angry.
I offer her a smile, trying to catch her gaze. I may or may not have been caught doing exactly as you did. You didn't. I nod, feeling a little smug now. The fear of being reprimanded by my enforcer is dissipated. I broke into Augustus Wilhelm's office and lived to tell the tale.
Fucking brilliant. You've got guts. I'll give you that.
I shrug, brushing it off. I'm grateful that the mood has shifted to something that feels a little lighter. You know, August regrets how everything happened. They seemed wistful. I think they miss your friendship. She frowns deeply, fiddling with the edge of her tunic.
They hurt me. I think it'll take me a while to get over that. It wasn't even about the punishment. It was that they didn't believe me. You work with someone for all that time, but when it came down to it, they thought I'd gone mad. Why would I make up such a thing? Everyone jokes about us and our instincts, but they don't understand. When we feel something, we really feel it, you know?
I nod because I do know. Whatever lies within us that grants us our abilities is something we cannot shake or ignore. If we sense someone is in pain or they're scared, we feel it in kind. If we love fully. We can feel that something feels off, it usually is. The employ us to do what we do for a reason. I wish they'd have a better understanding of what or how we feel. She scoffs a quiet laugh, rolling her eyes and offering me a small smile. If only.
If August wishes to make amends, I welcome their apology, but it will take me a while to trust them again. I was humiliated and betrayed by one of my only friends. They've got some begging to do.
Now that I'd like to see. Shit, me too. I'll get you a front row seat if that ever happens, alright? Deal. Now a proposition. Oh. I want to flirt with her still. I know I've done most of my flirting with Finn, but I'm going to flirt with her, Ezra, and Finn, and just see how it goes. That's who I'm most interested in. Come then, what's this proposition, dear General? Going into the dungeons. You what? She burst into laughter, her shoulders shaking. In a pause and she registers that I might not be joking. Wait, you're serious? I can't help but laugh at her furious expression.
You're a real idiot, you know? Are you jealous of my shameful demotion or something? Being a major isn't that exciting. Why are you grinning like that?
I take her hand and she immediately tugs me closer. Because we're doing it together, so we'll be just fine.
You're so cheesy. I really don't know why I like you so much.
She shoves me away playfully, her eyes sparkling. So come on then, what's the plan? I'm still putting the pieces together. You inspired me, though. Good to know some good comes out of my suffering, I suppose. Do you have any tips? Any kinks you encountered on your journey? The fact that I didn't even get to the door would indicate that I failed pretty miserably, wouldn't you say? There were wards, there were guards. It's pretty impossible unless... Well, you know Ezra, don't you? That witch is more than a pretty face. Speak to him, see if you can convince him to help. She's right, I've seen him use wards in his shop, and from what I saw of his magic the other day... You're a genius. She shrugs as if that was the most obvious statement I could have made. Duh. When you're ready, you know I've got your back. Always. Upon entering the shop, I find chaos. I spot Ezra frantically gesturing at Omen, the demon's tail tightly coiled. I'm wary of approaching him after our little incident yesterday, instead choosing to observe from afar. I manage to catch Ezra's eye, and he throws me a sympathetic look. He's stressed, his hand full of bandages and potions. He mutters something quick and sharp under his breath to Omen, who then turns and stares at me with wide, sorry eyes as the witch disappears through his purple curtain. If I ask what's going on, will you give me an answer? Hey. The question seems to catch him by surprise, and he looks away, his lips pursed. He doesn't seem to have forgotten his outburst with me yesterday or his abrupt departure. Good. It isn't my intention to trip him with a reminder, but just as well that he remembers. Did you bring someone in who was hurt? Brown eyes snap to me almost instantly, and Owen moves as though to step between me and the entrance to Ezra's back room. He catches himself in the middle and forcibly drops his arms to his side. He opens his mouth, stares without speaking, and his shoulders droop in defeat. A little spark that might have caught on the bandage rolls in his hand. Peters out. I'm sorry, I cannot talk today for some reason.
Yes, but maybe you shouldn't see her right now. I mean...
He licks his lips, the flick of black tongue visible. It seems eerily out of place on a face so painfully human in its distress.
At least let Ezra see to her first. He needs some space when he works his magic.
Then we have some time. I take a small step towards the door to block the exit, crossing my arms and projecting as stern an air as possible. There are too many secrets in this town. I recall you telling me I'm your best hope to solve your problem. I would hope you trust me to tell me what's going on. Owen freezes, his face falling. He looks away, mouth moving without a sound. It's a long, tense moment before he looks at me again. This time he meets my eyes, takes a deep breath, and nods, clutching the medical supplies he's holding closer to his chest like he thinks they're a reliable barrier between us. The sight of it makes me feel something unpleasant. I wish Omen wouldn't fear me, wouldn't fidget, his tail lashing back and forth in agitation. Shoulders tense like standing before me is taking all of his courage. Still, it's as it should be. Suspects I've encountered in the past as a hunter, and Omen resembles them all. The hint of power he let slip yesterday assures me he will make a terrible enemy. If he will be an enemy, but I really hope not. Alright. Sounds almost like an admission, but Omen takes a deep breath, squares his shoulders, and speak quietly.
2 years ago, I came to Lunaris. That is, I came to stay in Lunaris. After a disagreement with my sire, my father.
His eyes flicker around the room, almost nervously, and I find myself straining to detect any eavesdropping presence. But there is none. Omen seems to find the same thing because his shoulders droop again.
You know what I am. I suppose you've already guessed.
He sighs.
Your people call him Lucifer, I think. The fallen divine. The Lord of Hells.
Hey, I romanced your dad in the past in another video game. I think we're cool. It takes me a moment to process what he said. Demon lore is plentiful and easily accessible when you're a hunter. Even in our early years at the academy, we pored over detailed logs of their fiendish hierarchies, favorite vices to exploit, patterns of their appearances. I would damn well hope I would know who the Lord of Hells is. Oh, that is very nice. Owen's brown eyes are wide and his jaw going slack in surprise. The glamour is truly something, and I'm starting to wonder if he learned it from the witch behind the curtains. It is? He coughs.
That was sarcasm, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was not sarcasm.
No, it was not. Something else hits me. Also hits me. Our sire? Owen bites his lip and looks away, then he nods curtly, eyes flicking to the door leading into the shop. Well then. Does your father know that you're here in the mortal realm? Can he find you? Terrible thought crosses my mind. The burned bodies the hunters targeted. No! The vehemence of his denial is startling. I hold up my hands for peace, but Omen isn't paying attention. He shakes his head vigorously, trembling.
No. No, that can't be him. Him or any of his minions. I would have known. I would have stopped them.
His brown eyes are glowing with fire as he stares at me pleadingly. Literal simmering flames. I can feel the fire in his core standing here, far enough away. Now that I know where it comes from, the familiarity makes sense. It's one hell of a secret to hold on to. And who is that in the back then? One more colossal fact to add to the messy little mountain of information I've been gathering since stepping foot into this mad town. What else is new by now? I believe you, Omen. Omen's shoulders droop in relief, and I feel something tense inside myself unclench as well. It needs not end badly. It will not. Besides, this case would have closed far faster if it were run-of-the-mill demons messing around. Right. Omen closes his eyes and says something too quiet for me to hear. Then he breathes in, breathes out, and slowly makes his way to the counter. He sets all the items in his arms down there. With such deliberateness, I know he is doing so to calm his nerves. Something sneaks through still. I see a flicker of flame about his hair and intensity to his aura. But only briefly. The pressure fades as Owen raises his head. He doesn't look at me as he speaks.
I think I'll just head outside for some fresh air.
Are you sure? Owen smiles at me over his shoulder, the curve of his mouth tense.
I think it's for the best. I don't want her to see me like this. Rattled and angry. She's my sister. She doesn't deserve it.
He trails off, staring into the distance for a moment. Then he shakes his head and makes for the door, only adding one last thing before he steps outside.
Will you go and say hello to her? I'm sure Elaine will find you quite lovely.
The second I lay my eyes on her, it's a little more than obvious that she's truly related to Omen. Maybe even his twin, unless the glamour is simply fooling me. Ezra has a poultice carefully pressed to her dainty hand, a pile of gauze covered in a thick black ichor is guarded upon the counter by his side. She blinks at me once, twice. Her eyes are big and brown and every bit as earnest as Omen's. Hello! Her voice is disarmingly sweet, almost musical even. I smile at her politely, looking to Ezra for a little guidance. Elaine, this is Raven. Raven, this is Elaine, Omen's twin sister. Ah, yes. I assume Ezra was just as unaware of her existence as I am, but he's polite enough to stay calm and focused. As friendly and as hospitable as ever. It's nice to meet you, Elaine. Oh, you too. Elaine narrows her eyes at me for a brief moment, shaking her head. She looks terrified. She addresses Ezra, but she certainly keeps her eyes on me, on my weapon. Where is Armorus? I look at Ezra, my confusion quite evident. Armorus? Ah, yes, that. Her face lights up when I say his name, but I gather that she doesn't fully understand my trepidation. Ezra turns to address the demon, patting her hand gently. He's just outside, and you're all healed up, but I do think you should go and see your brother now. Okay, yes, I should. Ezra releases her, throwing me a sorry look over his shoulder as he quickly turns to dispose of the mess of medical supplies. It was lovely to meet you, Raven. Her demeanor is delightful, and I'm still slowly processing what exactly her brother just told me. Yes, you too. She glances at me briefly before shyly averting her gaze, turning to meekly part the curtains that lead into the shop. The second she's gone, a tall, pale figure bursts through the back door. He looks shocked to see me, but quickly recovers. Is she healed? She's fine, and she's with her brother. I suggest you give him some space for the time being. Ezra's words are final and somewhat stern, and Armorus quickly wilts under his vibrant green gaze, his eyes still lightly glowing from whatever magic he's just performed. I really don't know how to unpack all of this. What happened to her, and why are you so desperate to be by her side? He stares longingly at the curtain, Elaine's voice quiet on the other side. Then I remember the note on the stoop of the ibex, the little heart. Zes Hewa. Ah, well, I'm courting her, you see. We're together. She was attacked last night by it. The one that's been getting to your kind, I think. Ezra and I share a look, doing little to hide our shock. It? As in the creature? Armorist closes his eyes, sighing heavily, then he nods. Yes.
If you need to tell us something, we can help. Elaine didn't need to get hurt, so if you know where this thing is...
He looks at me, his throat bobbing as he swallows thickly. He's quite clearly battling with the idea of divulging any more information. Armorist, it's okay, you can trust us. We just want to help.
They're right. No one will know what you tell us. We just want people to be safe.
I just feel so validated by him using my pronouns. Thank you. Thank you, video game. He sighs again, his shoulders sinking in defeat. I just want her to be safe. Well, we can see you care for her a great deal, and we want that too. His ice blue eyes quickly flicker between each of us, and it's the most animated I've ever seen him. Why are you being so nice to me, my sister and I? He trails off, almost looking right through me. If you have any information about the creature, we need to know. People are dying, so I find it hard to hold your beliefs against you if you can offer assistance. Very well. Aurora has been sneaking out at night as of late. That's not exactly uncommon for her. I believe she's doing more than satisfying her baser urges. Ezra looks away, covering quiet cough with his hand. We don't have time to unpack all of that, but I'll store it away for later. What do you suspect? I suspect nothing. I know that she's feeding it. Or something, at least. Feeding it? Mm-hmm. He seems unfazed, startlingly so. She may seem so cruel and cold, but Aurora has a good heart. She cares for the creatures and makes sure they're safe. Can I see Elaine now? Can you maybe elaborate a little on that first? He shrugs, sighing again. It is what it is. I don't dictate to her what she can and cannot do. I find myself losing interest in our preachings. I just want to keep Elaine safe now. I dearly believe this wretch's place for good, but... Her and Omen have only just reunited. Would she be so quick to leave him? Maybe not. I think it's best for both of you to stay here and lay low. I'm not sure why the creature attacked her. Hasn't attacked anything inhuman so far. He looks at me, fixes my gaze, and with perfect confidence. How do you know? Chill rolls along my spine, but I shake it off. You're right, I don't. I'd really like to leave now. You can leave, but I need you to promise me something. He narrows his gaze. Go on. Watch Aurora, and the second you see her do anything out of the ordinary, you find me. I will ensure Elaine is safe, I swear to you, but your cooperation is essential. I see Ezra shifting nervously out of the corner of my eyes, but I stand my ground. Armorist continues to assess me. Fine, I will seek you out, and I will watch my sister. Farewell, Hunter. Witch.
Well, that was interesting.
I anticipate some commotion from around the curtains, but I hear nothing but silence. Interesting is putting it lightly. How are you, anyway? I huff a quick laugh, because that question feels too casual for the amount of information I've digested in the last forever. Tired, confused, the usual. I suppose I haven't done much to help with that, have I?
I wanted to apologize for not being totally honest with you, and for making your life a little harder than necessary. You already have so much on your plate.
He seems genuine, and aside from his odd behavior yesterday, I have no reason not to trust Ezra. I spoke to August last night and Piper this morning. They know about the sash. Fear flashes across his features, but I quickly reassure him. It's fine, Ezra. They're on our side. They want to help. Even Gus? Yes, even August. Are you sure you're not magic? Because that seems like an impossible task. I shake my head profusely. No magic here. His smile grows and he seems to relax exponentially. It's nice to see. Then let's talk. He takes a deep breath.
The reason I was so hesitant to discuss Aya, or the Enforcers for that matter, is because I used to work for them.
You were an enforcer?
Hell no! I went in and I assisted in the infirmary or morgue whenever they needed an extra pair of hands. Healers, good healers, are few and far between around here. It's what I always wanted to do, to apply my skills where most needed. Helping those who dedicate their lives to ensuring our safety was an honor. The murders began and I examined the first body. can even call it that in the state that it was in.
I listened intently, taking all of this in, a little perplexed, a little caught off guard.
Something shifted within the headquarters after that. They started treating me differently, called me in less. And then, when I was there, they kept me clear of any hunters. It became quite clear they didn't want me there any longer. Information was being kept from me, important notes about the victims I was supposed to be examining. The Aya incident happened, then another dead hunter turned up, and they revoked my access.
They took away all of my notes. Notes? He nods, glancing over the kitchen counter. I may have Piper retrieve them for me. If you'd like to take them, there's not much, but you're welcome to them. Yes, I'll take them. He opens one of the kitchen drawers, pulling out a pair of parchment. Then he discards what looks like a fake wooden bottom. Notebook is nestled safely beneath it. Here. I tucked it away inside my jacket for later. So why were you so afraid to tell me this? You did nothing wrong. You were helping people. He offers me a sorry gaze. His brow furrowed, fingers curled into a fist at his side.
They don't like people talking about it, about the deaths. Many of us have our suspicions now, and they know. I think they'd do anything to keep what's happening quiet.
Like not telling me who the latest victim is. Exactly. I wasn't even sure I could trust Gus, but I wanted to so badly that I pushed my apprehension aside. You were right to trust them. They're on our side. They're scared too. Oh, Gus, I just want all this to be over. What are we going to do? I smile and Ezra's expression lights up. You have a plan? I have a plan. I look deep into his eyes, hoping I can wash away some of the weight that he carries. The toll it's taken on him is obvious. I can't do this without you, Ezra. I need you. Anything you need, Raven. I trust you. I smile, taking his hand when he offers it, and he squeezes mine tightly. Together. Together. Piper and I are going to the dungeon to see if we can locate Aya. If we can talk to her, I think we might have a start. Everything leads back to when she was arrested, as far as I can tell. How on earth are you going to get down there without being caught? That's where you come in. It may involve you and August working together. Does Gus know about this little plan of yours? I grimace, waving my hands in a so-so gesture. Partially?
You're lucky I trust you. And I'm here for you. Just tell me when and where.
Thank you, Ezra. Now how can I find Finn? Why, secret passageway, of course. You're in the right place. He bends down, kicking aside a colorful rug to reveal that hidden hatch. It creaks loudly when he opens it, a gust of cold, stale wind rising from its depths.
Walk for about 10 minutes, and then when you see candlelight, it's the third door on the left. Don't be alarmed by any vampires you stumble across. They're all friendly.
I nod, taking a deep breath. I lower myself into the hatch, gazing up at him with a smile. See you around. The incessant drip, drip, drip of water guides me through the darkness. The stench of damp and decay fills my nostrils as I sink deeper into the corridors of the catacombs. The pitch-black path is long and winding, and the only sound I can hear is the tap of my boots on the wet stone. Eventually, I see candlelight flickering ahead, and it appears that I've finally found life. Well, kind of. I remember to look for the third door on the left, just as Ezra had instructed, but as I approach, I find it wide open. I peek inside, and stark contrast between the literal tomb outside. What I find is most definitely Finn's quarters is astounding. Before I get the chance to take in the view, a cold breeze brushes past me, ruffling my hair and sending goose flesh prickling across my skin. Ooh, who is she? A small, darkly clad girl appears before me in a flash, her eyes the brightest crimson as they bore into me. She stands with her head tilted and toothy grin crossing dark lips. Are you lost, human? She stares me down wide-eyed and clearly trying to intimidate me, but she seems playful? I'm here to see Finn. She relaxes at the sound of his name, and her striking gaze sweeps over me like a caress. She shrugs, pursing her lips. So you're the one you won't shut up about, huh? Well, you do smell good, I guess. Smell good? Is Finn here? She looks at Fang, and I notice how similar some of her human quirks are to his. She's far less poised than him, but I almost feel like that may be on purpose. I'm in Finn's territory here, neutral territory, so I quell the desire to be defensive, even though her eyes are the color of a creature who drinks human blood. He's somewhere, here, around, doing stuff. Helpful. Her smile widens. He turns to poke at the crystal decanter of whiskey that sits nestled in the corner of one of his many bookcases. Are you part of the clan? Quick nod, almost too quick to catch. I am. She pours the rich amber liquid into a glass, swirls it, sniffs at it with dramatic grimace, and sets it aside untouched. Her nose is still crinkled in fairly disguised disgust when she looks at me again. I wish that thing that you're looking for would stop killing hunters, you know, because that means more of your type will come. Then more enforcers, which is the last thing we need in this shitty town. I hear footsteps, loud ones that echo off the stonework in the hallway. Raven. I suspect he knew I was here, but his shock is charming nonetheless. He looks at the girl, who throws him a decidedly wicked, wolfish grin, a picture of innocence.
Raven, are you being nice?
The girl, I thought he was talking to me. I didn't know there was a character in this game that was also named Raven. That's fucking hilarious. Hi, Raven. It's me, Raven. The girl, Raven, shrugs, sidling up to him and resting her head on his shoulder. She rolls her eyes hard enough so I'm surprised they don't fall back into her skull. Yes, Dad. Finn's face drops, his eyes narrowed. I get the impression that he could blush, his cheeks would be the prettiest shade of pink. I stifle a laugh, and with obvious delight, Raven notices. Raven. She laughs, sound loud and obnoxious, but somehow still charming. She shoves him playfully, but Finn remains stern. Are you going to introduce me to your friend? The suggestive waggle for eyebrows doesn't go unnoticed, and Finn sighs heavily, offering me an apologetic smile. Raven. This is Raven. I'm his kid. There's a low, exasperated rumble of warning in Finn's throat, and I find myself enjoying the way he bristles in her presence. Finn throws her a death glare, and she proceeds to look guilty, but just a little. He raises a single dark brow at her and offers a quiet scoff. She enthusiastically steps forward and offers me her hand. It's really nice to meet you, Raven. This guy hasn't stopped gushing about you, so thanks for giving him something new to mope over.
I do not mope.
Raven rolls her eyes, and I finally take her hand. Her grip is firm, and I wonder if she might be trying to unnerve me when her startling eyes widen exponentially. Hurt him, and I'll eat you, got it? I open my mouth to respond, but before I get the chance, she's laughing again. Finn looks mortified, and he carefully pries her hand from mine and ushers her towards the door. It's time for you to go, I think. Raven pouts, raising both of her hands in defense. I was joking, obviously. I like them already. She offers me a little wave and rises on her tiptoes, press a kiss to Finn's cheek. She looks at her with unabashed fondness, smile creeping onto his lips. Go, say hello to Lux for me, and be good. He runs his hand over her shorn scalp, and she swats at him playfully, scoffing much like a teenager would at an embarrassing parent. I'll do more than say hello. Bye, Raven. I just think it's so fucking funny that I have the same name as his kid. That's hilarious. How could you... It would be so weird to date somebody who has the same name as your daughter. Oh, shit. He gives another disapproving rumble, and Finn almost looks like he wants to chase her to administer another pep talk, but stops himself. And with that, she's gone, the door slamming loudly and shaking in its frame. Finn groans, running an iron hand over his face as he walks to grab the whiskey Raven had poured him. She's interesting, she's sure. He sips his drink.
She's a pain in the ass is what she is. But I suppose she's my pain in the ass. I sired her, so she's my responsibility. She jokes about me being her father, but I suppose I am, in a way.
He takes a small sip of whiskey, savoring the taste for a moment before he speaks. Though I prefer brother. Father just makes me sound so... old? His laugh is charming. Yes, old. She tends to look after me much more than I look after her. She's a good kid. I'd be lost without her. I nod, observing him quietly as he sets on his glass. Sire bonds are powerful, and it's interesting to observe such a casual, healthy dynamic. Did you choose to turn her? He frowned, shaking his head. Well, no, not exactly.
It's complicated, but I made a choice that I'll have to live with forever. Literally. I'd seen too many die at the hand of my sire. Something about her struck me. He planned to leave her for dead, but I couldn't let that happen.
He smiles and it's painfully earnest.
We're kindred spirits, I guess. As much as I have regret for cursing her with immortality, she's the closest thing I have to a family. Now, what brings you to my neck of the underworld?
He leans back against his desk. I need you. He raises his scarred brow, his dark hair falling his face as he turns to set aside his drink. You do, hmm? He smiles at me, rolling my eyes, and I quickly try to distract myself. Let me rephrase that. I need your help. I have a plan, and I think you may be of use. He laughs, a raspy chuckle.
I'm all yours, Hunter. Do with me as you please. Just tell me where and when.
I clear my throat, the double entendre making my skin feel hot. He smiles, and I know the bastard can hear the unsteady flutter of my pulse. Piper and I are going to attempt to break into the dungeons beneath HQ. His pointy ears flicker, almost flattening against his head before they put themselves to rights. He can't seem to mask his surprise nor his apparent interest. The dungeons, hmm? He whistles, scuffing his boots against the stone floor. I can help you, but I may have a favor of my own to ask you if you're bold enough to venture down there. I narrow my eyes at him, contemplating if I want to tangle myself into yet another web. What is it? He pushes away from the desk, standing tall.
An important member of my clan has gone missing, and I'm positive that they have him. As I'm sure you know, any trust for the enforcers is wavering. I want my friend back. He's done nothing to warrant being thrown in a dungeon.
His hands ball and a fist at his side, his prosthetic flaring brightly before it fades into its usual dormant dull glow. How do you know that they have him? I don't. They have an excellent defense system that prevents any of us from protecting him, no matter how close we manage to get. He would not just abandon us. He's either detained or dead, and if it's the latter, I just want to know. You're sure he wouldn't just leave? Your clan isn't like others. Maybe he wanted to change? He looks frustrated. He runs his fingers through his hair, leaving it messy.
Fierro wouldn't just leave. I know he wouldn't. I trust him more than anyone else in my clan, even Raven. We both suffered at the hands of Levi for centuries. We were healing from that together. He was the only friend I had when I was with Levi. And he saved me more than once. I owe him this. If he's ash and bone in a forest somewhere, then so be it. But if he's okay, then I must save him. The only family creatures like me have are the ones that you find, so I intend to keep them safe as long as I can.
Why do you think they would take Fierro specifically if you're so sure he's innocent? He shrugs, clearly quite confident in his theory. Because he's valuable, he's an empath, a powerful one. If he stole something he wasn't supposed to, or even if they just managed to overpower him and get him alone. I've really let my clan members patrol ride themselves, regardless of our supposedly stable relationship with the enforcers of this town. But I was stupid, and Fierro is a good sweet talker. He sent someone in distress in the woods, so I allowed it. Therefore, if anything has happened to him, it's my fault. Finn prides himself on being the opposite of his sire, and I can see that this is eating away at him. You can't place the blame on yourself. You didn't know. Plus, if he is as valuable as you say he is... His eyes light up when they meet mine, his fingers switching upon the surface of the desk. Then they could be using him, so he's still alive. I smile in return, tilting my head this way and that. Well, ish. He laughs, and I can't help but join him. So you'll check for me? I nod. I will. The information on Finn's sire is sparse outside the fact that he was notorious and cruel, and I wonder how a seemingly kind man could have followed him for that long. Call it morbid curiosity. Do you mind talking about him? About Levi? Finn grimaces, folding his arms against his broad chest. His posture loses its usual confidence. I suppose. I take a seat upon his bed as he pulls out his desk chair. The first thing I can think to ask him is loaded, but I need to understand. Why did you stay with him for so long? He looks at me wide-eyed for a beat before he manages to formulate a response.
I don't know if I can answer that. I still truly do not know. He was good at making sure you had nothing left to go home to. So he was all that I had. I'm not the kind of man who does well with loneliness.
A wry smile crosses his lips, but Finn looks impossibly sad. What did he take from you? He swallows thickly, casting his gaze to the side.
Everything. He took my fiancé, killed him right in front of me before he took my own life. I was an orphan, and I didn't exactly have many friends. Gabriel was truly all I had. He destroyed our home, all of our memories, even took my name from me. He took it all, and he did everything to make sure that I needed him. I followed him like a lost puppy for centuries.
Did you ever try to escape when you found others? He nods.
Many times. I had a few periods of freedom, but he always found me. He tended to collect vampires with abilities like Fiero and myself. Maybe to make up for the fact that, aside from his advanced age, he was truly unremarkable.
And now, he's dead and you're free. You seem to be managing well for someone who endured all of that. He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck with his iron hands.
I'm trying to shape myself into the man I always wanted to be. Before the whole being undead thing, I try not to dwell on things that happened to me. I was bitter for long enough, but I cannot change any of it. All I can do is be the opposite of what he wanted me to be.
I smile as I observe him. I register how comfortable I feel in his home. The thought of stepping into the den of a clan before all this would set me on edge for now. You're doing a great job, Finn. His mouth curls into a nervous grin. Thank you, Raven. I give you permission to kick my arse if I ever dare to step out of line. Duly noted. So what is it you'd like me to do exactly? Well, no one knows this town quite as well as you. I was hoping you'd have some secret little passageway tucked away for me to use. The rewards and other nasty little tricks in place stop people like you, like us, getting in. I'll worry about that. Now, what about that passageway? His grin is wicked, and I think I have my answer. I'm your guy. Just say when and I'll be there. If you need anything else, just come running. I bid Finn farewell, and now I only need to find one more friend. I saved the most stubborn till last. Alright, I think we're gonna leave things here for now. If you enjoy the video, if you're enjoying this series, what have you, feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Maybe leave a comment if you're feeling generous. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.